What's up, guys? I am outside here in the corral of my cars today, and well, I was looking for something to do because everything is outside of my shop right now. Got my floors getting done over here, and we're in the last stages, which I'm very thankful for because I want to be able to get everything inside. I want my new lifts to show up, but more importantly, I got the Radwood Austin show next weekend, and wouldn't be a show if I didn't bring the tip Dutch coupe here. And yeah, it hasn't really been, well, I brought it to the LMR Cruise-In last year, but I feel like Radwood will be a really good spot for it to be showcased. And well, I was messing around trying to get the car moved and dealing with classic dead battery issues. Now mind you, this Optima, there's no date on there, but I want to say I got it back in 2018 ish, maybe 19, I don't know. Needless to say, it's got some age on it. I'm trying to do the old life support jumper mod here with the battery charger. So here's a little trick. If your Optima goes bad and it's so dead and the charger's telling you you have a bad battery and everything else, put a set of jumper cables on and you can shock it potentially back to life. So I'm actually charging the Optima through another battery that's good, and hopefully it'll kind of balance out between the two, and then eventually I can take the connectors off of this battery and maybe I'll get a little bit more time out of that Optima if I'm lucky, but we'll see. More importantly, what happened is my compressor kicked on to fill up the air tank and I could hear a leak. And the leak was actually coming out of this fitting right here. And there's a crack. You can see it right down in those threads right there. So I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Time to finally clean up this trunk. I'm tired of looking at it this way, so I'm actually going to pull the tank off the plywood, and I think I'm going to mount it up on the bottom side of the parcel shelf on the other side of the tension rods. So that is my plan. I'm hoping it's going to work, so I'm going to go ahead, take the tank off, see if I can't get it mounted up there and clean up this look a little bit. And if I can, be awesome if I can finally get my proper Sony 12-inch sub installed here in this trunk. So anyways, let's get at it, get this tank out, see what I can do. I really need to have drain plugs on these tanks. Look at that. Guess I could always take a line off and blow it out, or have another line that I stick on and then run to the outside of the car. But there's actually something in the tank. What's this? Ah, that's like a backflow valve. I think that probably went in there. That's why that extension was in there. Here's the end. I think that's what holds the backflow valve. That probably went in there like this, and this threaded in there like that, and maybe it was threaded in there a little too tight and cracked the fitting. I'm gonna have to check with ride tech and see about this. All right, so I got everything off the board there, and yeah, with the tank up there, honestly, with the trunk open, you can't even tell that that tank's in there. You can see here, I'm gonna have to build something, some plates or some brackets. We'll go straight across. In fact, I'll probably try and get it. Get it in there, that'd be sweet. Yeah. You can see there, I've got it in those holes. So this way I'm not going to be drilling or cutting into the car at all. It's just going to be a plate that's going to sit from here over to here, and then I'll be able to put a piece of hardware in here on either side, and it'll be all pressure fit. All right guys, I knew these IKEA brackets for, you know, the shelves that you're supposed to secure to the wall when you get them installed, but you never do. So I had multiple of these things laying around. They're like nice little pieces of solid flat steel, and I think it's going to be perfect. See, I've already got one run right up there, so all I really did was, you know, pass it through like that, and then pass it back. So I think it'll kind of be more than exactly what I need. So if this is here, that is there. How am I doing this here? Or maybe yeah, there you go. Better I put it over to one side more, instead of centering it. Hole there. Trick in the back in terms of hooking it into that hole. It's almost inspired by Adam Carter from the Carter's Customs rear diffuser on the ship box. So it's kind of using what you got, and these IKEA flat steel plates look like they're going to work out just fine. So this is all just kind of the mock-up phase right now, but really happy with the way that that is. If you're looking at with the trunk open like this, you can't even tell that tank's up in there. So now I just got to figure out how I'm going to do the solenoids and then the compressor. And, you know, if I can get everything kind of tucked up in the back there, you know, out of sight, out of mind, that's going to be a pretty big win. And then at that point, I can focus on what I'm doing with these crossovers and the amplifier. You notice now I've got the other battery out, and the Optima has come off the first stage of charging, so we might luck out with the old shock back to life here. All right guys, so the new backflow valve is in, and you can see the piece there, and everything is together. So this was 15 bucks off Summit, which means it's actually smaller than the one that originally came with the kit. But anyways, I'm going to unthread this one, we'll thread that in, and then we'll have it. get it fit on the tank side there, tank side, one of these two, that side, and hopefully everything will be good to go. All right, so what I'm probably gonna do, guys, just so you know, is once all this works, I'm gonna wrap all this with kill mat just to keep any vibration noises and everything else down to a minimum. Okay, so there's our two holes. For the back side of the compressor, front side, I think I'm gonna sandwich or try. So the plan of attack here is to actually slide this up and use the same hardware that I had there. So that'll just require another nut. And then I'm going to try running screws up there to make my life easier. Guys, I got it. It's just kind of loosely bolted on there, but you can see this sandwich bracket, dual purpose air tank, and the, I guess, pointy, the single side of the compressor, and then got the two back there on the other sandwich style bracket. And I'll just have to get my air line from here to here, and then from there to there. Now in theory, I could have mounted the tank the other way around and had all these fittings facing the back. The only thing is I just feel like maintenance would be just a potential nightmare. So I'd rather have stuff kind of accessible and where I can see it. I'll just put like a 90-degree fitting off here, and that'll be really easy for that line to get over to where it needs to be. And similarly, I'll do the same thing over here on this side. But other than hooking up some grounds and cleaning up some wiring, I just need my lines to come in, and I'll get some kill mat from the shop and just kind of finish mocking all this stuff up. And here's the best part. The trunk is open and you can't see any of it. So lots of room to still slide in chairs to go to car shows and everything else. So really happy with the way this is turning out. Just the only other thing that I'm gonna have to figure out is my amp, my crossovers, and my 12-inch sub that is not in here. So that's where I'm at. All right, guys, so we got cars inside the shop in the nick of time. Now, I had everything out of the shop because I was redoing the floors in here, and due to some delays and weather and everything else, well, yeah, mostly weather, it's made things extremely challenging. So you can see there's a shortage of vehicles in here. Thankfully, my neighbor across the street helped me out in the nick of time a couple days ago when we had some bad storms coming through. And then today, same thing out of nowhere. Yep, hail is gonna come. And I was fighting this car. This was the only car that was left outside because I had all the air ride apart. So in the last storm, I literally had moving blankets all over it, 2 car covers over it, and everything that I could do to protect it. Thankfully, no hail came. But today, you know, I was waiting, trying to wrap everything up. As you guys know, working in the trunk here, and the UPS man showed up moments before the storm with some of the 1/4-inch air line that I needed. And I managed to plug the connections up real quick. And you can see, like, I wish somebody had the GoPro and was filming everything, because it was literally the dash to make things work. I got wires just kind of like, this is hot power wire stuff just twisted together, and just trying to make things work. And right at the end, compressor fired up, managed to build some air, got the car lifted up, and managed to drive it inside the shop here. So needless to say, everything is working out pretty good. And now I just kind of need to do some cleanup. I need to fix some of this wiring that is not acceptable by any means. and just try and double check everything, because it was really quick in terms of, you know, connecting up some grounds and a few other things. I want to make sure that I'm not going to run into any issues. And so one key thing about this setup, guys, they do say to mount your solenoids higher than your tank to avoid moisture buildup. However, I really don't, unless I go up to the parcel shelf on it as well, which that could be an option. Maybe I'll do a little hanger style setup with another IKEA bracket if I can find one. So I'll take out that rear speaker and then I'll hang that upside down from up in there. But for now, I think the proof of concept and everything is here, and it works, and it frees up quite a bit of room in the trunk here. Now I just got to clean up all this mess, go over some of the final details, but I think I've accomplished what I want. The other thing that I'm also considering is actually moving the battery back to the front. There's really no reason to have it back here. I will need a power distribution block to be able to obviously get power to the amplifier, power to the air ride system and everything else, but you know, that's easy. Yeah, so it's really just kind of this stuff here, and that Excel 300 plus ignition, that's actually disconnected right now as well. It's not even hooked up. It actually went bad and kept the car from running. So that's why you can see that coil wire is stretched way over to the coil there, because, well, that's how I managed to get the car to run when it left. I forget who was driving it. One of my friends was driving it and left him stranded. So bypassed the ignition and away they went. So yeah, probably get the battery back underneath in the hood here. It means I'm going to need a battery tray. I don't know if I have any on hand. I think I have the original battery tray for this car, to be honest, but it's sitting up in Canada. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get Dale to send it down to me the next time that he's sending some Godzilla motors. But yeah, guys, let me go ahead. I'm gonna clean this stuff up, but I think you guys got a pretty good idea of where I'm going with the trunk. The next phase will be doing something so I can get my 12-inch sub in there. And but so far so good. I'll try this out. I got everything wrapped with kill mat and everything's bolted up. So there you have it. Stay tuned. I'll get this all cleaned up and I'll give you guys a final debrief.